Hi everyone, it's Lydia with Applique Market. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about one of my new favorite items, the Durkee Cap Hoop. I am going to be showing you how to hoop a cap on here, and the one that I'm using is actually for my 6-needle machine, but they do make them for the single needles. So if we need to do a video about that one later, I can certainly do that. But let's get started. I'm going to adjust the camera so that you can see this. And basically where we start is, I've already got mine unscrewed, but you've got these little thumb screws and you just want to loosen these up. Not all the way. You want to make sure that this bar stays on there. But I flip mine over and I use sticky on a roll. This is sticky stabilizer, and this is the 8-inch roll. So I just pull off enough to cover the area. I actually line it up with these little, the bottom of the little cubes right there. So made a little mark how much I need. And I like this 8-inch width because it actually fits this particular hoop pretty perfectly. So that makes things pretty convenient. So I pull the backing off my sticky stabilizer and adhere it to the back side, the underside of this cap hoop. Okay, so it's completely covering the opening in the frame. See? Okay, so I just kind of fold the edges over of the stabilizer so that they don't get stuck on anything. And, hang on, let me grab my cap. Okay, so this is just a regular cap. This is a trucker cap with the mesh back. But what I do is undo whatever kind of backing you have, whether it's a snap, tab, or the hook and loop, and pull the little sweatband out. Okay, so we want to fold that up. And if your cap bill is kind of curved, you can just straighten that out. That's going to help things. Okay, so the way I do this is I turn this around so that the metal part is at the top of my hooping area. And a little tip when you're pulling that sweatband back, I take a pin and just catch it so that it stays out of the way. You don't need to try to put it through the bill. Just catch it so that it stays out of the way. Now, flatten out the bill, and I lift this little metal piece up and slide the cap bill under the metal piece and slide it all the way up. Okay, so what I do is I take this little middle seam of the cap. If you don't have that on your cap for some reason, just measure the center of the area where you're going to be embroidering. So I line up the center seam with the center of this middle opening, okay? And I push this pretty much all the way up to this bar. Okay, now let me see if I can do this where you guys can see it. I'm going to fold this up so that I can make sure that the sweatband is tucked under. Because if you don't and the sweatband happens to get out, you will embroider through the sweatband. And then your cap, the embroidery doesn't work out because the sweatband is caught in your stitching. So after we've checked that, just tuck it up in there. And then I go ahead and press down and tighten the thumb screws to hold that bill down, and that just kind of secures it so nothing's moving around. And then what I do, okay, this is what I'm looking at. I'm facing this direction. I take the center seam of that cap and just pull it all the way down so that it is centered with this bottom groove at the bottom of the hoop. Okay, so I press that down. All right, the middle seam is pressed all the way down. Now I take the sides and I smooth them out onto that sticky stabilizer. Okay, now you guys know that I like pins, so I always take a pin and I secure the back, and make sure you keep everything smoothed out, okay? Do the sides. And I find on caps that I can go up to about 3.5 inches for a monogram if it's a round one or a square one. You can go a little bit wider if you have one of the longer monograms. And then I push down the front and make sure, again, you can feel the sweatband, and you just feel that area, make sure it's out of the way, and I pin right above it. So when you do it like this, the stitch area is right here. You're not in jeopardy of hitting the frame because your pin is kind of giving you a mark as to where the bottom area of embroidery is. So one of my biggest tips when you're doing this, once you have it ready to go, put it on your machine and then trace your area where your monogram will go. Trace it several times if you need to. It doesn't hurt. It takes, maybe 1 extra minute, and it will definitely be worth it. So I just always make sure that my center monogram is lined up, and then as far as the distance down toward the bill, I just try to go as low as possible without hitting this pin or any of the sweatband area that I can feel. So typically my monogram would be probably, this is about a 3-inch spool. It would look about like this. And that's, to me, a pretty perfect size. So please make sure to comment if you have any questions. I can also do a live broadcast on this if you guys want to see it in action again. But just remember, you can always email us at contact@appliquemarket.com. We check those multiple times throughout the day and the evening. And you can always post on our Facebook page or our Applique Market Friends group page. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope this helped, and we'll see you next time.